This is day 199, the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you would like to sponsor upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, it would be greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Today we are doing Simon Kuf Mem Daled Sib Zayin through Simon Kuf Mem Vav. Sib Vav. And this is last tip of Simon Kuf Mem Daled, which is not skipping around. And Kasav Zayin, Kasav Rabbeinu Beis Yosef Sib Daled ain't Korin the Echad B'Shnei Sib Torah. Don't read for one person and two Sefer Torah Mishum Kamo Shel Rishon, because it's going to say the first one was damaged. In other words, as it says in bracket, Shel Moshe Rishon Psula Pilakar Ba'acheres. It shouldn't say the first apostle. That's say right in the second one. But if three people have to be called three Sfarim, such as Rosh Chodesh, Tevis comes out on Shabbos. Like Mishum Kam Ad Kan Lashono, there is no issue of damage. That is then called the Beis Yosef. Zeh b'yom hasham. Zeh lo matter. From this we learn she'ish echad yochol likro la'alos l'torah shnei pamim. It's a bracha b'torah. Person can get two aliyos and it's not a bracha b'torah. Kemen shabracha b'shul kvoida shel Torah. Since the bracha is for the honor of the Torah. Chem chopam shalom mavarch. Every time you get an aliyah, you make the bracha. Kemo kohen akoy shnei pamim kshein levi. Such as kohen reads twice and there's no levi. K'mosh kusam sim kuflamnei. Only in two Sefer Torah, you should not give a person aliyah in two separate Sefer Torah. I feel like with two different topics. So they shouldn't say the first one was damaged. I was Sefer Torah achas, but in one Sefer Torah you could go up even twice. And of course, more times than that, as he mentioned, and said about the practice at the beginning of the coronavirus. You just don't go up in the first Sefer Torah and the third Sefer Torah, and in those days when you take out three Sefer Torah. Since you interrupted with the second one, there's no issue of damage. That which it says three people, or normally it's three people, so three Sefer Torah, but it could be A in 1 and 2, and B in A in 1 and 3, and B in 2. Those are not sure about this. They'll Rabbah. Generally shouldn't do this. The one person gets two aliyos, it's a shas of chakos and maril or lebi gam lamaftir. The maril went up to Levi, and also for maftir bulaya muchrach lezem ezatam. Maybe he was compelled to do so for some reason. Siman kuf mem hey. Din matudin matuk man shehayab is manakad mon. I should tell you, there was one time when I was in a shul where there's a person who was supposed to get maftir, and by mistake they gave an earlier aliyah, and that maftir was a school for something or other, and therefore they actually gave him a maftir as well. They asked me about it, and I looked it up, and indeed that was halacha. So give him two aliyos. Okay, kuf mem hey, same Sefer Torah, not two different Sefer Torah. That would be no good. Kuf mem hey, it's in the Mitzvah Shabbos Manakabmo. Actually, now I think back, I'm not sure it was the same Sefer Torah. It might have been two Sefer Torah, in which case that would have been a problem. Yeah. Actually, now in retrospect, I think it would have been a problem. This is like some more 25 years ago, so I don't remember exact details, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. In any event, principle is not in two Sefer Torah, but in the first and the third, yes. Kuf mem hey, the name of Meturgam Shabbos Manakam, the name of a Meturgam, which you no longer have the translated Sefer Torah. That's what it says in ancient times. In the days of the sages of the Gemara, they'll translate every part of the Torah, and they should dibur lashon Aramaic, because it's spoken Aramaic. And they translate so people can understand the meaning of the Torah. The Baal Kriya was only allowed to read one pasuk at a time for the Meturgaman. One. That time condition is probably will be no tape. The reason was so they wouldn't get mixed up, but they understand very well. The Metargim cannot start translating until the Meturgaman has Targum can't start translating until the Kriya has finished the pasuk completely. And the Korea is not allowed to begin another pasuk until the Matargim has finished translating completely. The reader is not allowed to assist the translator. So they shouldn't say the translation is in the Torah. And the reader is not allowed to raise his voice higher than the translator, nor the translator higher than the reader. The Chsiv says, Moshe daber, Moshe spoke, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu responded in voice, and the Chazal Darshan in the call of Moshe, or brachas. Back in the brackets, V'zeh shlo chai shachnu bebrachas she'emru ksuvas b'Torah b'simcha kuf lametes. That which you were not afraid about, they're going to say the brachas are written in the Torah back in Simcha Kuf Lametes. If the person says the brachas with the Sefer Torah open, Shemitarim yesh yoser chashash. By Targum, there's more of an issue, an issue perush Torah, because it's the translation of Torah. That's the Magen Avraham writes. Base hakatan b'mala metargum aydei gadol. The a person who's of lesser stature translates for a person who is of greater stature. It's not appropriate for a person of greater stature to do the translation for the reading by a person of lesser stature. Seems the indication if the person of greater stature was the translator for a person of lesser stature, he should complete the Targum. And it should look for the middle for a person of lesser stature to complete the Targum. The Mali Makodesh Lomarim will go up and not down. We don't do it anyway nowadays. There's no advantage. We don't know how to make it better than Hebrew. Usually worse. Maybe we'll say translate into our vernacular. No, you can't say that because the Targum Unklus is different. Because it was written with divine inspiration. When we say Musa Haskel, from here we have an intelligence rebuke against those who say that in Targum, which is the halacha, which is we haven't learned yet, that it's not necessarily Aramaic, but you can do any language. Much later, we're going to discuss this. Don't be astonished how we no longer discuss them using Turgamon if it's an ancient enactment. Even those days, not in every place where there's a Maturgamon. Kavur Megillah, I am Chop. The Torah brings Yerushalmi that says that we see the rabbis go out to a tinus and they read without translating. The Yerushalmi says here we see the Targum is not an impediment. That's the end of the quote. So this Yerushalmi also says even though the Targum is not an impediment, it's not required. You can't call him nevertheless in Torah Marjina. So if he made a mistake in the Targum, we make him go back. Ayin Sham. Kuf Mem Vav. She'asa David B'Shas HaKriya. One may not talk during the time of Kriya Satira. Aleph. Amina Brachos. Ma'idach Siv. Oz Ve'Hashem Yichlu. What is that which says those who forsake God will be eradicated? Zaminach Sefer Torah. Shipsucha is a person who leaves the Sefer Torah open. Say and goes out. It's not just a time of the Kriya they can't go out. I feel bad pasuk the pasuk, but even between psukim, based on Matargim, when the translator is translating, Kefi Aminah should be a name as was their custom Gamkin, so it's also forbidden. Sefer Torah psucha miyadi Koran, because Sefer Torah is open, and momentarily they will commence to read it. Ava ben gavra, but between aliyos, shazay no psucha when it's not open. El golim, so rather it's wrapped. Or parcel of mapo, or has a cloth over it. Much gosav the simu kuflam test like you learned previously. As mutal, let's say, then you can go out. Let's say, if you need to go out for a great purpose. Ones gomor, or because absolutely compelling reason. But the Memsa Kriya feel b'chai gavna also. The middle of Kriya, even under such circumstances, also. High compelling circumstances are as an exemption in halacha. Become nevertheless called kamish yachol lanos atzmo. as much as he can compel himself to not leave, has compelled himself below, let's say, it's not to go out. This is stopek, and one could even be to have a suffix. It's unclear. Over about shaksu. If he has to go to attend to his needs, if in this case he transgresses the prohibition about the shaksu. Say if its rule is like the middle of the Zimra, or Kriya Shema Tzorah should go out, or Dino Kitfila, or it's like Shmoneh should go Mer Tfilaso, where you're supposed to complete Shmoneh before you go out. He was like the Dino Kitfila. Chun says it's like Shmoneh. The God of covered at Teire, covered at Shechina. The honor of Torah is like the honor of the divine presence. Would it not be that they left me and can't preserve my Torah? You have to finish until the person in Aliyah completes, is finished, evidently, until he finishes his bracha. If he can't restrain himself. A lot of Mishaburas on this one. Bialocha says that it sounds like even they didn't begin to read, you're not allowed to go out once the Sefer Torah is open to commence reading. Mishabura says even if there are 10 people listening to the Kriyas Torah besides him, and he already heard the Kriyas Torah with 10 people, he still can't leave in the middle. The Bir Alocha writes two opinions. If even before you say the bracha, Asher Nosan, at the end of the Aliyah, you can leave, or you have to wait until after he said the bracha. Arukh HaShulchan, like I said, sounds like you have to wait until after the bracha. The Mishnah Berurah writes that you can only leave with the 10 people left in the shul. He already heard Kriyas Torah, or he's going to, or his intention is to come back immediately. That's even between aliyahs, and that's also when something happened. Just a coincidence. It was an occasional thing, but to do this on a frequent basis, even to go out by the aliyahs, looks like removing from oneself the yoke of Torah, and therefore it's a problem. Base, a minimum site that says Torah, once if there's open, also the saper afilu b'dvar halacha. You know, to talk even about halachic matter. Shnei bar b'nechem yok, sheposach as a sefer Torah likros bo livnei b'nei Yisrael. It says in Sefer Ezra when he opened the Sefer Torah to read in it before all the Jewish people. Steve, pascho amdu kol ha'am. When he opened it, all the nations stood here. V'namida el shesika. It means to be silent. It says ki amdu lo anu od. Paskaniyom. They stood and did not respond anymore, meaning they stopped speaking. V'oksiv Shom Nechemiah says in Nechemiah Ba'Levim, Mevinim esam ba'am al dam. The Levim were explaining to the people, and the nation were literally standing, but figuratively means silent. Klomar shoskim. Ros hara is the shayla also. Even the paskin of shayla is also. Chen pasak harif. This actually is the rich pasak barakam the brachas. Ishkasav the royal pishon mutter. Some say that a quick psak is okay if it's necessary at the moment. Merely the Ravi Rafi here in Shayla. Arukh HaShulchan says depends what the shayla was. If it's imperative, you should respond. If not, your most should hint to the person asking to wait. And that's our custom. The funny buzz shayla mitos shinsa b'sefer Torah based in minyan. The chayach l'shitechem. I guess there's multiple minyanim going on. And if there's a question which comes from a mistake which comes from Sefer Torah in another minyan, you have to respond immediately. Or there's this question on an illness. Of course, you have to answer immediately. But for a generic question, the questioner can wait until they are between aliyos. The Mishnah says, "Frusha meisura." Somebody's about to do something prohibited. If you see somebody about to eat a cheeseburger, mutar the lower there, so I can say "ha," or something else. You shall fish that reason you can't stop it by hinting something. Kimel, v'dash is esham ragmar kem shin tach sefer Torah. So daber, that which it says once the sefer Torah is open, out to speak. Hakavad mishosh maschil nikro. So he says, only from the time they begin to read. Chenka not from the time they literally open it, which seems to be the case till now. Okay. The Chenka sabaram perki base. There are those who say, Hashem Yishah and the Shkita Gam Kol Kriyas Chasar. Time it's open, as we saw in the Mishnah brought down, even before you start reading. It's also that is the Magen Avraham, and that in fact is the Psak in the Mishnah Berurah. Veino Ken, Arukh HaShulchan argues. Okay, the head of Pirish Rashi Sham. Kevon she is chili close. Ayin Sham. So only wants to begin to read. Ken Posel Akidelim. There's also Psak of great ones like the Madani Yontif and Eli Rabba. V'day showed the Rabbeinu B'Yisrael Kosav the Asul Saper Fiu Ben Gavra Gavra. It says no, you're not normally allowed to talk between aliyos. B'yesh Matir Ben Gavra Gavra. Some people learn it between aliyos. The Mishnah says the name of Bach, and he writes Eli Rabba writes or suggests. Interesting that to speak to other people you should not be mako, but beino lebeinatzmo. If you want to mumble to yourself, if you're learning, then we should not we can't protest it. In fact, the custom is like the Matirin ben Gavra Gavra, and the Arukh HaShulchan adds bifrata, especially the mishaberach. When they make these extended mishaberach, people start talking. And basically also meant we're afraid that you're going to keep talking once they start learning. In young concern, therefore short matter is permissible. Has no bearing on this halacha. Dalin, you should know the da. Rav Sheshes, when they were laning and he already heard laning, he would turn his face and learn. But he said, we're doing our stuff, they're doing their stuff. Vikshu Rabbo Seinu, and our rabbis have asked me to Sotasham. Shazi Sas basically said Torah. I feel var halacha, not a lot of time laning, even to learn halacha. Tirtza Bahag, Milchus Sarchis, Yibur, Bzel Shoinoi. Vani Mile, it says Hachi Mili. Whatever, maybe it's supposed to be a mistake, it's supposed to be Hani Mili. Hachi Mili, Dika Sora, the ties of Sefer Torah. If there are 10 people listening, Sefer Torah, of course. Then you can turn away, have a lake of Sora, the ties of Torah, if there aren't 10 people listening. No. Akal Shanu. Rav Sheshes, you're so below. And I guess Rav Sheshes, there are 10 people besides him. Free Perik, you die, Perik down, the Mechil Hebi Sev, Kosav, Terutz Acher. The Rip brings another answer. The Shana Sheshes to Rosa Naso. Sheshes because his Torah was his craft, and therefore it's counting about Torah, so therefore he can be excused. Same Balitaisa Tirtu, the Kol Rav also. The Balitaisa say that to learn out loud, and at the same time the laning is also Kadej Babel Shemim, or not confuse people who are listening to the Kriya. Sheshes Lamabalach, Sheshes learned in silence. The Ram Perki based in Tila Din Tes Kosa the Mishnah Torah Naso. Some of his Torah is craft. Mutzah Limo B'Shas Kriyas Torah. So that to learn during because the Torah Ayin Sham Zeu Karif. But Torah cultures and Torah brings all the answers, which sounds like in any case you'd be able to be lenient. Hey, but Tamir Rabbeinu Yoina, Kosa the Brach Sham the Shtaim Sheshes Saginar. Sheshes was blind. Who bought him because the Torah he's exempt from leaning. The Dvarish B'Saf also learn about pet. Because things which are supposed to be writing Dvarish B'Saf, now it's to say them about pet. Avokodam also, but any other person is forbidden because they should be following the lane inside. B'Shem Rabbam Kasvu, the Rabbeinu, they write in the name Rabbeinu Yoina. Mechin Atzmo Konam Akriya Limod. Somebody prepares himself before laning starts to learn. Masir Parab and turns the other way, Laroski Misalek and some Kriyas Torah to show us you remove himself from the Kriya. For else your mother wants to learn Mutar, it's permitted. I ain't Sham. Maybe it says he based KB called the Shem Yeshomim. But it says means all the opinions of Yeshomim. And he was dying near the Chol Rabbosav, the Rabbosainu Lo Plige. None of these answers argue. The Vadem Lo Nishra Sarah, Shishmu Kriyas Torah B'Chayin Asa. Certainly, if there aren't 10 people left listening, you matter what, you can't turn away and learn yourself. B'Chaim Koram B'Chayin Asa. So to learning out loud, that's also forbidden. Only silently, Mishnah Torah Samnuso, so his Torah is this craft, and prepares himself beforehand. Sorry, Mutzah is permitted. By us, it's also no matter what. Should not learn for him to be lenient at times of Kriya. If not, somebody who already heard Kriyas Torah, Yoshim and Taimon is singing us like to learn. People see already heard Kriyas Torah from his mode of conduct. The Mishnah Merubah says that today we don't have a concept of Torosenu Umunasenu for this purpose. And Mishnah Merubah says that even if he heard the Kriyas Torah with 10 people, it's also usher to sit on the side and learn. Um, I would say that today when we have minyanim in Batei Medrash very often, and Beis Medrash we know people are learning all day, and at the same time minyanim are taking place, it would not be an issue if one was clearly not part of this minyan and what side the son was learning. I think it's a double passion. Vav, Levadze. Besides all this, I don't say quite all this terutzim. Lashon ana b'didon v'inu b'didu. Both are saying we are doing our stuff and they're doing their stuff, which almost sounds disparaging. V'yaldusi shamati shradet me'agdolim pi reish the Rav Sheshes matter a pay. And my youthly says the Arukh HaShulchan there from the Gdolim. They explained that Rav Sheshes would turn around, turn his face, Grois and learn. Beishem Matargim Tirgei Apostle, and the Matargim was translated Apostle. From our honor, but we're involved in our thing. That we don't read the Targum. If you do, they're doing their thing. Since they don't know the meaning, they have to they need the translator. But during the Kriya, it would be usher to learn regardless. Of course, unlike Chazar shots, but you see that there are Gedolim who learn Chazar shots. It says, never have we found that a great person in Torah, as great as he is, will learn at the time of Kriya unless you already heard Kriya previously, as we have written.